Did you know that Senator Robert Byrd of West Virginia, the king of the filibuster, actually released a musical album back in the 70s, and it was actually kind of a banger? It shouldn't be the biggest surprise that some senators were also musicians in their own right. After all, they're regular citizens prior to and after their service in Congress, assuming they survive that long, and plenty of them hold regular hobbies or they bring their own little twist into the mix. Former Pennsylvania Senator Pat Toomey is a beekeeper. Senator Leahy of Vermont left the Senate to focus on his Batman cameos. Susan Collins of Maine is a baker, and Abraham Lincoln was an unstoppable vampire killer. Senators each bring their own little touch to the office, or if you're Mitch McConnell, a thing of extra lettuce.
I am Mitch McConnell. Feed me poor people.
Robert Byrd of West Virginia, who held the seat from 1959 until 2010, was an avid fiddler player. And no, that's not a joke, he wasn't a priest. To continue on with his passion, Robert would release an album in 1978 dubbed Mountain Fiddler. And my god, what a bad name for an album. The album is a 14-song, 38-minute-long session where you can hear the sweet, sweet fiddle and a surprisingly decent singing voice from one of the longest-serving senators in the U.S. Senate.
Came to the river and I couldn't get across. I paid $5 for an old blind horse. He wouldn't go ahead and he wouldn't stand still. I went up and down like an old sawmill.
If you want to listen to the album, by the way, I will have it linked in the description down below. But I'm not sharing info just for Senator Byrd. There was actually a semi-official caucus within the U.S. Senate for a period of time in the late 90s, which was dubbed the Singing Senators. This group would be made up of 4 Republicans: Jim Jeffords of Vermont, John Ashcroft of Missouri, Trent Lott of Mississippi, and Larry Craig of Idaho.
My heart's on fire, Elvira.
The Singing Senators would form first in 1995 for the birthday of Bob Smith, about the name of every scammer in India, with the group coming together again for Oregon Senator Bob Patchwood's birthday the following year. Trent Lott was Senate Majority Leader at the time, overseeing the chamber through Clinton's second presidential term, and this formation of the group was an effort to unify the Republican caucus, as Jim Jeffords frequently voted with the Democrats on major pieces of legislation. They'd release a CD album dubbed Let Freedom Ring in 1998, which I sadly can't find anywhere. November of 2000 would see the group officially disband, as Ashcroft, the senator from Missouri, would lose re-election, and Jeffords would switch parties and caucus with the Dems, giving them control of the chamber, and thus the group as a whole would effectually dissolve, even with attempts to bring it back later on. While the Senate efforts would die down, the House would have their own little group of members that would take up the musical life. If you want to learn about the dubbed Second Amendment's group of House members, then sign up to my Patreon to watch the video in full. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.
Weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall